Man, there's a lot of stuff I gotta catch up on. Hey, what's up guys, Movie Maniac here. So, as some of you guys can tell if you are subscribed to me or have watched my videos, I haven't been doing reviews or anything lately because, well, I'm moving on with life. I mean, I got a job, I'm making a movie, I'm also in a set of another production of someone's movies, I'm also acting in someone's movie, and then I got schoolwork, I got family stuff, dating, and bunch of stuff that's going on with my life right now that I haven't been doing as much YouTube videos, which it's really sad because I love doing YouTube videos. I just never had the time to do it, but now I have the time to do it, and I should use this time to just make YouTube videos for not just for you guys but also for me, because I enjoy doing YouTube videos. I love talking to you guys about the movies. So yeah. Anyways, so what I'm going to do in this video, I'm going to recap on all the movies that I have missed or I've seen. I've seen and review it. Like, there's some movies I've seen, but I haven't reviewed them yet. So this is pretty much just gonna be like the big catch-up review on reviewing the movies. And also, I'll be talking a few trailers and one news that's been going on lately. And I think you pretty much know what that's gonna be. So yeah, let's get started. Boxtrolls is a real fun movie. I mean, if you're a huge fan of like stop motion, I mean, I'm a fan of stop motion. The stop motion is amazing in this movie. Like, like usually, I mean, today movies are so good with stop motions and stuff like that. Like Coraline, Paranorman, how their stop motion is really good. Actually, the funny thing about Boxtrolls, this is not made by the same director or producers from Coraline or Paranorman. This is actually, different directors, but same stop motion crew who did Coraline and Paranorman. I mean, Boxtrolls is a real fun movie to watch and look at. The story isn't really anything that great because, well, it's one of those kind of stories that we've heard before in kids' movies, but it's still really fun to watch, So if you're a stop motion lover, or if you just want to see a good movie, it's worth seeing. I would give that a B-. The Maze Runner. This one wasn't that great. I mean, it did look pretty cool with the trailers, and also the movie had a cool premise. I mean, it's about like these kids who are stuck in the maze and they try to survive by trying to escape from it. I mean, you think it would sound cool, but it's really anything that interesting because basically the whole movie is trying to be a Hunger Games wannabe. Now, hold on. I know some of you guys are fans of the books, and some of you guys are going to be saying, oh no, it's nothing like the books. I'm judging this by movie because I never read the books. I don't read books because it's real hard for me to read books, which is sad, but but basically I'm judging this by movie. It's trying to be like the Hunger Games, like the cinematography, the shaky cam. That is real annoying. The main character is trying to be this strong, independent character that's trying to rise up against the government. We've seen that before, and the characters aren't really that interesting. The narrative structure wasn't really that interesting either. I mean, it's just not an interesting movie. It's kind of boring too. I mean, there were some action scenes, but most of them are too dark to see. Like, the lighting is real bad, like especially in the night scenes. Even in the theater, it's hard to see what's going on. So yeah, not good lighting, and also the acting's fine. So yeah, not really that great of a movie. Not even just interesting or entertaining. It's kind of boring. So not really worth it. Gone Girl. Gone Girl was just freaking insane. Like, it's one of those movies that you would just leave out of the theater and then you just say to yourself, holy shit, what did I just watch? Like, it is so crazy. Now, this is going to be so hard to explain why I love this movie, because basically I have to give away, because if I want to give out in detail why I love this movie, I have to give away some spoilers, which I'm not going to do that for you guys, because basically see it. Just see Gone Girl. It's worth the surprise with all the in this movie. The story is very good. Again, I'm not going to give it away, but it was super intense. David Fincher loves making his movies so intense, like Seven, or even Social Network. Even though that's like a biography, but it's so intense. This movie is also very intense. Like, you have two characters that you're supposed to like because they're like our protagonists, but you hate them because they have like these mistakes that they have, and you're just like, this is so depressing. Even the ending was so depressing. Just like these characters, the characters, you're just like, how am I supposed to love them if they're just like, if they have these mistakes? So, yeah, I mean, that's just all the details I can explain, but the story is very good. The cinematography is also very good. The acting is great. Like, Ben Affleck was great. Rosamund Pike, even though I'm not a huge fan of her acting, but she really pulls off in this movie. Like, I hope she gets, like, some sort of Academy Award nomination. And then Tyler Perry. Freaking Tyler Perry. Even though he's, like, he's like my least favorite directors, but in this movie, he was really good because he was a really fast-paced like lawyer and he's pretty comedic. Like he's not really like that bad of an acting. He's really good actually, so that's pretty awesome. However, if I do have to pick one cast that's not really that good, it's gotta be Neil Patrick Harris. I mean, he was entertaining in this movie, but it doesn't really fit. But his character really doesn't fit. Like he's supposed to be this creepy dude, but I really just can't see that in Neil Patrick Harris. So. Yeah, but he was still okay, though. And the rest of the movie is very good. Also, the music. I don't talk about the music that much in movies, but the music in this movie, like, it makes you feel so intense of what's going on. It just makes you go, you know, it gets you all uncomfortable. And that's like, the best way to describe this movie. Uncomfortable. So, yeah, I mean, definitely check this movie out if you haven't. I would give it an A+. Great movie. Interstellar. Interstellar is fantastic. I mean, there are two sides of, like, this movie. Some people like this movie or some people hate this movie. I'm one of the people who loves this movie. Like, I think this is my favorite movie of the year. Just like, I mean, for one thing, I'm a huge fan of Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan makes good movies all the time. Like, I don't even think he made a bad one. Well, Man of Steel, but that wasn't really that bad, but also, I don't really blame on Christopher Nolan for that movie. But Christopher Nolan was directing was really good in this movie. I mean, the story is also very good, too, because it's all about, you know, what is beyond the black hole, which it's really cool of what the cast or what our characters like Matthew McConaughey and Anne Hathaway has to discover. It was really cool. The movie's long, but it's one of those kind of long movies that you just don't care that it's like almost 3 hours long. You know, it's a really good movie that gets your attention, or at least gets my attention. The cinematography is amazing. Like, you know, you gotta see this movie in IMAX. Like, the IMAX scenes are just worth it. Now, so yeah, that is really good. The music is also very good too. Capturing the feel of 2001: A Space Odyssey. Oh yeah, that's also kind of pretty obvious how Interstellar is trying to be an homage to 2001: A Space Odyssey, which it did that really well. And I feel like that this movie's gonna be a classic because, like, well, with 2001 when it came out, lots of people loved it and hated it when it came out. But then the more people watch it over the years, the more it became like a sci-fi masterpiece, which I feel like that's what Interstellar is going to be like with other people too. Like, it's going to be, you know, a split controversial movie, but then later it'll grow more audiences and stuff like that throughout the later years. Now, I do have some problems with Interstellar. Like, sometimes there's some scenes where the music and the sound effects are so loud you can't hear what the actors are saying, which that's kind of a big problem. Even I seen it twice in regular theaters and I still couldn't hear what the actors were saying in front of the sound effects and the music because they were too loud. So yeah, some of the editing of the sound effects and the music wasn't too good, but still though, it was a great movie. It's probably my favorite movie of the year. Awesome. A solid plus. Big Hero 6. Now, this movie isn't really my favorite animated movie of the year, but it is real good. I mean, for one thing, it does have, like, a really, really cliche story, because, like, you've seen this before in, like, How to Train Your Dragon or some of those kind of kids' movies, but what makes Big Hero 6 real good are the characters. Like, the characters are written so well. Like, I love the main character, Hero. I love Baymax. I also love those college students who becomes the superhero, which is really cool. Also, I think it's really cool how Disney tries to make a superhero movie from Disney. Now, I think it's the first one ever, but I don't know if people want to count The Incredibles. I don't think The Incredibles count because it's made by Pixar. This is just Disney on its own. And, you know, for Big Hero 6, it's really good. I mean, the characters are worth watching. I mean, like, the characters are so good, you don't care that this movie is, like, has a really cliche plot, you know? You just really enjoy it. Like, for example, like, there's the hero, the main character, the little kid, has a brother, and pretty much, I pretty much knew that he was going to die at some point, because, you know, those kind of main characters who have, like, a brother or a dad or something like that, they would always die from the beginning. But what I was surprised by is that the brother has, like, enough screen time to give him a proper, like, satisfying end for the character, and I was just like, wow, so he's not going to die? Oh, wait, he does die. Crap. I knew that was coming, but that was a good written character. good job on that, Disney. Good job. But still, it's a good movie. Definitely still check it out. It did make me cry a little bit. I mean, it was really emotional at the end. It was really cool. So, yeah, Big Hero 6 is really good. I will give it a B+. The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1. Now, if you guys don't know, I do like The Hunger Games. In fact, The Hunger Games pretty much started movie Maniac, this whole review thing. Like, the first movie I've ever reviewed was the first Hunger Games. And I want to give it thanks for that. Now, anyways, the first Hunger Games was good. The second was great. The third was okay. I mean, lots of people keep saying, like, oh, Mockingjay is, like, the least best out of the Hunger Games book series, and I can kind of see why now. I haven't read the book, but the movie's pretty accurate to the book, so I can kind of see why it's not great. Because, I mean, for one thing, there wasn't really anything intense going on throughout the whole movie. The whole movie's all about this political stuff, speeches, little uninteresting. So yeah, the story is not that great. But the movie was entertaining for its acting, because the acting really did save this movie. The actors were really good. Jennifer Lawrence was great. Josh Hutcherson was great. Julianne Moore was great. Like, I also like her costume design, and her hair is really cool. And then Philip Seymour Hoffman, I did cry at the end because I do love Philip Seymour Hoffman. He's a real good actor, and since he died last year, it was real sad that he passed away. So yeah, like at the end of the credits when it says, "In loving memory of Philip Seymour Hoffman," one tear did kind of got in my eye. So yeah, the movie was pretty good for what it is, but at the same time though, it's kind of a little boring too. So I mean, I guess it is kind of worth seeing if you want to know what the Hunger Games Mockingjay is about, but I don't think it's really worth your time exactly. But I don't know. I thought it was okay. I would give it a C. The Hobbit: The Battle of Five Armies. Now, I must admit, this movie isn't really as good as Desolation of Smaug. I mean, Desolation of Smaug was great. I'm not saying that The Hobbit: The Battle of Five Armies was bad. I thought it was pretty good. It's good, but I think it's as good as Unexpected Journey, because, it does have flaws. There's a bunch of death teases that happens. I mean, mostly for the villains, and it gets real tiring for the action scenes, and it kind of makes you go, ugh, just kill these characters already. Just kill them already. You don't want to overstay someone's welcome. And then there's this one scene that really, I laughed. I thought it looked so stupid and ridiculous with Legolas. I mean, Legolas is really cool with the stunts, but there's this one moment, it's not a spoiler, where he's on a bridge, and then, the bridge is, breaking and debris, and then, Legolas was, running on the stepping bricks while they were falling. Sort of like Super Mario Brothers. I started laughing so hard because that was Super Mario Brothers. I mean, Legolas does cool stunts all the time, but I think this is, the only stunt where Legolas goes a little bit too far to look real cheesy and ridiculous. So, yeah. And also, I really don't care about the Teriel and Kili relationship. I mean, I don't really care about that. I mean, out of all the stuff that Peter Jackson has been adding to the Hobbit movies, pretty much that's the only pointless one that really didn't need to be needed. But anyways, I still thought the movie was good. It was fun to watch. I mean, there's lots of great action scenes in this movie, good acting, and I was really interested in Thor and how he becomes so greedy with the gold and everything like that, and it was really cool. So, I mean, The Hobbit is a good movie, and also, it's so satisfying that this is the last Middle-earth movie ever made, and also, it also ties in real nice with The Lord of the Rings, so you can, start a marathon after The Hobbit, so that's pretty cool. So, yeah, The Hobbit, The Battle of Five Armies was really good. I give it a B+. Transformers 4, Age of Extinction. There's only one way to review this movie, is to wear this hat and this mask. It's still dumb. But I'm not gonna lie, it's actually better than the other Transformers movies. I'm a little bit surprised, because I mean, it's kind of weird saying that because with the Michael Bay's Transformers movies, I mean, the first one was okay, the second sucked, and then the third one sucked. Basically, the Transformers is just a bad franchise. But the fourth one is bad, but I don't think it's as bad as the other ones because, like, for once, I actually kind of felt like Michael Bay was actually trying to do something to make the franchise, like, interesting. Because, well, for one thing, there's a new plot this time. The humans are going against the Transformers. That's actually kind of interesting. And then, and then you got new characters, like no Shia LaBeouf or anything like that. So you're just like, okay, this is kind of... I think Michael Bay is trying to move on from is trying to move on with his earlier mistakes. But it's still a dumb movie. For one thing, the movie's really long. You don't want to overstay someone's welcome. The action scenes are okay. It's your usual Transformers crap, just explosions, fighting, and stuff like that. CGI is okay because it's Transformers. Their CGI is usually okay. And then the characters and the actors are really dumb. I don't really like the characters, especially T.J. Miller. He was super annoying. I also really hated the hot chick in the movie. She's not really interesting. The actress is not really good. The character is not really good. The only actor who was kind of pretty good was Mark Wahlberg, because Mark Wahlberg is a good actor. And in this movie, he does kind of hold up. But still, this movie's dumb. It's not worth seeing, but I will admit, it is a little bit better than some of the other Transformers sequels, but not the first one. Not even as good as the first one. So, yeah, not really worth watching. So I would give it a D+. Plus for trying. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah, as you noticed, I changed my shirt because I have a Ninja Turtles shirt. So that'll be worth talking. I'm not gonna lie, this movie sucks. Really, it sucks. It's terrible. It's awful. Some people are saying, like, it's an okay movie, it's harmless. No, it is awful. I hated this movie. The only thing I liked about this movie are a couple of action scenes, and of course, at least the Turtles still has their personalities, and, they're still the Ninja Turtles. But the movie is terrible in every way. Like, I even think it's worse than the fourth Transformers movie. Like, the characters are real bad. They're just the same old, characters. I know they're supposed to be the same old because that's how they're traditionally supposed to be, but it's getting really tiring at this point. And also, Michelangelo. I freaking hate Michelangelo in this movie. Like, he is so creepy. Like, not just his face, but just himself. Like, he'll start hitting on April O'Neil, and then, it just, like that one scene where he goes like, yeah, we'll find you. Oh, I'm sorry, that was kind of creepy, just kidding. That's not already creepy enough when you have such an ugly, terrifying face. Oh yeah, that's another thing. I hate the Turtles, how they look. They look awful. They look so awful, just ugly, terrifying. I bet I wouldn't be surprised if I hear somebody say, oh, the kids have ran out of the theater because they were too scared to watch the new Ninja Turtles because they look so terrifyingly ugly. They look like Shrek on steroids. It's so awful. Also, the story is really bad too. There's really nothing new into this movie. It's just a rehash of the first live-action Ninja Turtle movies or any pilot of Ninja Turtles at all. So that makes the movie entirely boring. And also the backstory, well, kind of interesting, kind of putting in April O'Neil into the mix, but at the same time, there was so much nitpicks and confusion on that. Like, for one thing, how could Splinter just easily just read a book of how to do the ninjutsu and just immediately become a master at that? How could that be possible? How could that be, like, even the movie was trying to be, like, realistic, while the movie really didn't need to be realistic, but at least just put some realistic continuity into it, and just, like, that doesn't make any sense at all. Just Splinter's just reading a book and then bam. Also, Splinter looks so bad in this movie. I hated how he looks. Like, the mustache, that needs to go away. And just his voice. His voice is not Splinter. His voice is like somebody who's trying to imitate Splinter. And you just know it's just some actor in the voice room and just trying to act like Splinter when he doesn't really sound like Splinter. Also, his tail. I freaking hate his tail. It's so bad. I don't know, it's so stupid. Like, he uses his tail just to swipe and he uses his tail to, I don't know why, but the tail looks like it grows, and like something he uses his tails to slap someone or, trip and something like that. I thought it was just so stupid how Splinter uses his tail. And just, ugh. I really hate this movie. And I'm not gonna lie, this is a bad one. Just, worst movie of the year goes to this movie. It's terrible. It sucks. Don't even rent it. It's not worth it. I can see how Ninja Turtles would say Michael Bay would ruin their childhoods. Even though my childhood didn't really start with Ninja Turtles, but I'm just a basic fan. But I can see how that would just destroy the whole Ninja Turtles. And they're going to make a sequel? Nope, done. I'm done. Done with Michael Bay. Him. The Fault in Our Stars. Now, this movie looked really super cheesy. Like, I thought from the advertisement, it looked like it was going to be a bad romance movie. But without all the reviews and people are saying it's a good movie, I didn't really believe them still. So until it came out to DVD, I did check it out, and I'm not going to lie, I did cry. Little. Okay, maybe a lot. At the end. Not the whole movie. Yeah, this movie's actually pretty good. The movie is really good. I mean, the reason why I think it's good because it's written very well. Like, I like the story. I also like the characters too. Like, the characters don't really feel like they're just these cheesy romantic, characters that you'll see from movies. But, these are like characters who have cancer, and you kind of like just see how much they would say, oh, cancer sucks, because we have to live through this and stuff like that. And you really feel bad for them. Also, the dialogue is really good too. Like, you remember how I said it kind of looked cheesy from the trailers? It's actually not as cheesy as I thought it was. I mean, there's no cheesy lines or anything. I don't even think anything is cheesy about the movie. The dialogue is really good. It's realistic. It's nice and really good. And it's a perfect date movie. Like, if you want to take your date to see this, go cry about it. So, yeah, a pretty good movie. Good written movie. Good acted. It's also really acted very well. I really like Shailene Woodley. My only problem with this movie is that there are some moments where I have pop songs throughout in the middle of the movie, which there's some of those pop songs I freaking hate, and also some of it doesn't fit. So yeah, there's some pop songs that doesn't sound really good. I think it's better with instrumental music. There we go. Yeah, I think it would have been better to have that, but I still thought it was a really good movie. I give it a B+. Divergent. This was boring. I didn't want to see this movie, and I gladly avoided it in theaters, but I still saw it on DVD. Man, it's another Hunger Games wannabe. Now, I think this is like the one movie that the Hunger Games Divergent fans would just be like, no, this is different. This is different. This is not Hunger Games. Again, I never read the books. I'm sure the books are way different. In fact, I know Divergent came out before the Hunger Games, like the books, the Hunger Games. But it's another Hunger Games wannabe. I mean, for one thing, Shailene Woodley's character is sort of like Katniss in the Hunger Games. And of course, the whole story is like the Hunger Games. I mean, there's some differences, like new characters, new plot, or new set of background, new mysteries. But it's just that, it's the same old, the high class are the villains and the low class are your rebel heroes, and you got to go against the government. We've seen that before, and this one was done terribly. I think this is even worse than Maze Runner. I'd rather watch Maze Runner than this, because, for one thing, the story is complicated. Freaking complicated. Because, well, for one thing, you gotta really watch this movie to just know what's going on. I tried watching this movie again, and I still couldn't get what was going on at some times. Like, what is this Divergent? Like, I tried to listen, but there's like these big words that they shout out at you, and you're just like, what does that mean? Why can't you just explain that for a little bit? What does that mean? So yeah, there's lots of like those kind of questions that just, makes you ask like, what does that mean? And what's going on? It's also very confusing too. The acting is fine, but I feel so badly for Shailene Woodley because her performance was kind of dull. I mean, the reason why, because the director's like, oh, what I want you to do is that I want you to do what Jennifer Lawrence did for Hunger Games. There, you got it. Okay, let's get the camera going. I feel so bad for her because Shailene Woodley was a good actress. I liked her in Fault in Our Stars, but in Divergent, she really doesn't have that much to do, which it's really sad because she needs to be in more good movies. She needs to be more good movies because I believe that she's a good actress. Then there's like same thing that goes to the other casting in the movie. Like the other cast. The actors are not that great because they didn't really have that much to do, because mostly I blame on the writing for that. The writing is dull in this movie. Very dull. So yeah, very boring, not fun to watch, not interesting, and I'm sure they're going to make a second movie and then a third movie with 2 parts. as usual with movies that are based off on books. Otherwise, don't see it. It's boring to sit through, or at least it was boring for me to sit through. And if any Hunger Games or Divergent fans want to argue to me about differences between the Hunger Games and Divergent, bring it on. I still think it's a Hunger Games ripoff. So, come at me, bro. Okay, now let's talk about trailers. There's 2 trailers I haven't talked about yet. Terminator Genesis. For one thing, I'm a huge Terminator fan. I love the first and the second movie. Like, they're both equal to me. Some people say that the first one's better or the second's better. I like both. The third movie, The Terminator, well, it was really cool to watch and entertaining and action-packed, but it's still a pointless movie. And Terminator Salvation was actually I thought it was pretty underly appreciated, because there's lots of haters for that movie, and I thought it was actually not that bad. I thought it was pretty good. Then you got Terminator Genesis, which I'm not really too much excited for it. I mean, for one thing, they didn't follow up. They didn't follow up Terminator Salvation, with that obviously left a cliffhanger. What? Second, we have heard this kind of a story before, what they're trying to do. I mean, basically, this movie's trying to be like the X-Men Days of Future Past, where they're trying to reset everything, like just the whole franchise, just to make it make more money and stuff like that. But one of the movies has already done that before, like Terminator 2, because Terminator 2, at the end, they wiped out Skynet, they wiped out the creator of Skynet, they wiped out all the traces, and then they just made more. That's where the franchise should have ended, but, they just decided to make a 5th one now. It's kind of dumb. So yeah, not really too much excited for it, but the trailer was pretty interesting. I did like the idea. I did kind of like those scenes, how they kind of recaptured the first movie, and then like the old Arnold Schwarzenegger versus the young Arnold Schwarzenegger from 1984. That looks really cool. I hope that's a cool action scene. I mean, I bet it's gonna be pretty small because pretty much the whole movie, I bet the villains is gonna be the T-1000. Because yeah, there is a T-1000 in this one. Good casting, by the way. Like, I kind of like how Jason Clarke is in this movie. Joel Courtney, I know he's been in a couple of bad movies, and in fact, he was in Divergent, by the way. He was terrible. And I'm not really excited for him. I don't see him as Kyle Reese. But, Emily McClarkey, I forgot her name, but she's from Game of Thrones as Sarah Connor. I thought that's a really good, perfect choice, because she really does look like Linda Hamilton in a young age. So, yeah. So, the trailer is kind of interesting. I'm still going to see this movie and see how it is, because I'm curious what they're going to do with it, but I'm not totally excited for it. Jurassic World. I did talk about this, but I haven't been able to make a review of it. So, I'm going to talk about it again. So, Jurassic World looked really cool. The trailer looks very good. I mean, but one thing, it kind of makes you ask, okay, like, what happens if Jurassic Park was a successful theme park? Like, what would it be like if people were going to see it and stuff like that? It looked real cool. And in fact, that was really interesting to think about with the first one. Like, what happens if Jurassic Park was successful? And it kind of shows. My only gripe is that, well, it's going to be a rehash of the first Jurassic Park movie, so I'm not expecting anything great because, again, it's another dinosaur that runs loose, except this time it's a dinosaur that was created by scientists. So it's sort of like Frankenstein meets Jurassic Park, which they already acknowledged that from the first movie. So yeah, I'm not really expecting anything great from this one, or not even better than the first. I'm just hoping it's a good sequel, and better than Lost World and Jurassic Park 3. Now, one more thing I'm going to talk about is this big, huge conspiracy news that's been going on throughout America. Just like the whole month was the whole interview being canceled. Now, of course, I know this news is really outdated because now they have released it online and a couple of limited theaters. But for one thing, when this movie was like canceled, I was kind of a little bit disappointed because, well, the interview does look pretty funny. Like, I'm not expecting anything great. I mean, I'm just expecting it to be like a funny movie if I'm going to watch it. And I will watch it at some point since now it's like online. I can easily see it on my computer. But, with all the conspiracy it's been getting, I got so interested. Because, like, at first I kind of got interested because, it's just another funny movie by James Franco and Seth Rogen. But, with just this whole news that's been going on with the movie being canceled, lots of people were just outraging, just like Sony was being a wimp and stuff like that. Even though some of you guys might know, I really don't like Sony because the way how they did this Spider-Man franchise, which I'm not going to talk about that news because pretty much, my only review for that one news for Spider-Man and Marvel. Do it. Anyways, but yeah, Sony has been doing really well lately. But when the movie was released, I was satisfied because, well, for one thing, I think it was really unfair because, well, for one thing, this was made by, directors and producers, the people who made this movie. Like, what happens if this movie was never released and those actors didn't get paid and stuff like that? I would feel so super bad for them because they did all that stuff for nothing. And it was just so sad. But now, since it's released on a couple theaters and also online, I will see it and I will do a review of it and see how it holds up. So, yeah. That's basically all the catch up I had to do. Oh, man. Lots of stuff to talk about. I will do more YouTube videos. Hopefully, I'll do more often. But for now, this is just my big catch up video. And I will do a top 10 of best movies of the year, top 5 worst movies of the year, and top 10 most anticipated movie of next year. So I will do that. Ooh, I think I'm getting a sore throat now. Anyways, so my ultimate question today is, how's life? Yeah, I don't really have that much of a question because I'm really tired. So, yeah. Anyways, like and subscribe. Comment down. How's your day? Whatever. Yeah, like and subscribe. Check out my other videos. They're really cool. See ya.